stream, and we're going to continue on from Act 4 where we left off on the last stream. So the first thing we're going to do before progressing further through Act 4 is just kind of take a look at our gear and see if there's anything we should probably try and improve before we move any further. So let's open this up here. And looks like we did grab a little bit of loot here. We've got plenty of scrolls to identify stuff, so that's not a problem. And our 3 blues are in there with our raised zombies. However, it's an item level 11. Increased spell damage, max life, and lightning resist. So this is going to be a bit more difficult to get 3 blues on, but it would be really nice because we get a little bit more increased movement speed and attack speed. Quartz flask. Not too interested in the benefits we have from that. This unique has been doing relatively well for us. Increased movement speed, so I think we'll stick with that. Unless we get something awesome here. Increased physical damage is pretty nice. That is relatively impressive for where we are in the game so far. This we don't have the strength to actually equip yet. Let's see, fire damage, increased attack speed. Let's see, what did our unique have? Attack speed, cast speed, max life, max or reduced maximum mana. And that's actually giving us a few different charges too, so that's actually pretty good. So I think we're going to stick with that for now. So let's go ahead and stash some of this stuff away, and we'll take a look and see what the vendors have, if they've got anything relatively useful for us. Let's see, how many jeweler? We've got 1 jeweler's orb, so at this point, I'd really like to use this, but it just wouldn't make any sense for us to use it at this point, so we'll go ahead and probably just sell that off. We'll hold on to our essences. Always good to keep those. Obviously, we'll keep all of our currency. And that's a mission item. We don't need that, so we'll probably just sell off all this stuff. And we'll pick up 1 more prophecy. So powerful soul, drop a rare item, so not too bad. Oh, thank you. Glad to have you in the stream again tonight. Good to see you. All right, we're ready to rock. Let's see where we were. Let's see which ones of these are actual side missions. Okay, so we need to go to the Eye of Desire. So head in through this way. And hopefully, since we've got a decent movement speed, or movement skill, we've leveled it up a few times, our movement speed is up, we should start cruising through things a bit quicker than we have been. So, common Duresso, and we need Duresso, so we'll go into Duresso's Dream, and that should help us finish off this mission. And if we can finish off Act 4 quickly enough, kind of debating if come Act 5, if we should go ahead and either start the act right away, or if we should try and hit the labyrinth. Forgot to summon my zombies, that was a bad move. And I accidentally took the portal. So let's go ahead and do this. Get these guys going. Trying to remember, do we have more than 5? Yeah, I thought so. Alright, now we can head back in there. Necromancer's nothing without their minions. We got Einhar in here with us. Oh, I see why we're having such a hard time now. We had 3 of his beasts on us as soon as we came through that portal. We got set up. Total setup. Let's summon some more skeletons. Try and take out this red beast. And then we'll try and zip through the rest of this. Ooh, that was close. Let's see, are you prepared? Yeah, I don't know at this point. We could use some better gear, to be honest with you, at this point. Mainly, we just need some better synergy with our gems themselves. That's not too bad. We don't have any jewel slots unlocked quite yet, though. Actually, one thing... Oh, no, that's still back there. So our health is admittedly a bit low, too. But if we can get our minions to kind of do the majority of the work for us while we just kind of move around, we shouldn't struggle too much. I just kind of have to, I've been playing my Templar for a majority of the day today, so I have to kind of get back on pace with doing that. You've seen a crazy rabbit running around talking about the time. No good traps there. Alright, time to run through here. We do actually need to kill a little bit of stuff here, just so we don't stay, so we don't get underleveled. At this point, level-wise, we're actually probably right where we should be. We haven't spent a lot of time changing up our gear, though. And we haven't had a whole lot of luck with currency drops. Come on, Einhar, capture it. There we go. So that's all of Einhar's beasts. Hopefully we get something from this mutilator. Leather belt, that could be decent. Let's see. Life resists, less stun duration. Leather belt, the rustic stash, so we currently have. I actually kind of like that a bit more. Let's go with the new belt there. Get our skeletons up. Nice chromatic item for us there. We need some more jeweler's orbs though, but we should start running into those once we start running into more 6-socket items. Once we get some of those 6-socket items, you'll get 7 jeweler's orbs apiece for those. That'll help us out quite a bit. We may have overleveled something, or messed up. Yep, messed up our strength. So we actually have to stick with that for now. I was wondering why I couldn't flame dash. It's because we need to up our strength to be able to use that. So we may just have to go to our hideout, do a little bit of master crafting if we want to use the other one. But the benefits of the other one weren't quite high enough to the point where I'd be too overly upset if we don't use it, so it's probably not even worth master crafting on at this point. I think what we really need to do is we need to find some items with some more health, some better sockets, and potentially find some more support gems to support our minions themselves. I do like those gloves that we have, though, giving all of these different minions that we have different charges, just because each charge actually has a different benefit, so that's kind of nice. Keep moving forward here. Actually, since things are a bit calm, we probably can go into our passive tree and take a look here. Let's see, where did we leave off last time? I think Death Attunement was the last skill that we had picked up, if I remember correctly. Let's go ahead and filter. A few different life notes throughout here. Not sure. Life regen per second. That's not too bad to work towards. At the same time... Could go down here also. Relatively small life increase, though. Yeah, I think we'll work our way up towards these health nodes up here. Probably be useful, and we can pick up some strength there as well, which will be useful in the long run. And then we could work towards those health nodes that are flashing over here to the right. And that'll give us energy shield and some, yeah, that'll be good. Let's go ahead and zip on through. Yeah, I should go through and actually make a guide to a lot of the boss fights. Would not be a bad idea at all. That's another thing I've noticed you don't really find a whole lot online about are the actual boss fights themselves either. Be good to just kind of put something out there, let you know what you want your resistances at, because sometimes at the beginning you're just not going to have, you know, 75 across the board. But if you can at least have the main, you know, the resistance of the main type of damage that the boss does, I mean, you don't really have to worry about the other two elements at that point. And you can just kind of supplement those in later on. And maybe just swap out one or two pieces of gear for that boss fight and then swap back out. So we're level 38, the area is level 38, so pacing wise we're not doing too bad. Zip through here. Let's see if we can get these guys here. This is a nice sized mob. Hopefully get some good experience here. Yeah, and I think that's another one of the, like, the result of, I don't want to say people being overly knowledgeable, but that's kind of what it is. I think, you know, you kill the same boss so many times, you don't even really think twice about it. And I've admittedly gotten to that point, too. Not too bad. I made kind of an effort in the last stream to just move through it a bit quicker. We finished all of Act 3 and a portion of Act 4, so we're just kind of picking up on Act 4 where we left off. Kill these two guys. Yeah, because after the second stream, I spent far too long on the second stream, kind of killing random enemies, and I should have been moving a bit further through. I was far over leveled for the areas we were in, and that's always a good sign that you're killing too much and not moving through enough. Get some skeletons and just zip away from this guy. Ooh. It hits like a freight train. Yeah, we gotta avoid these floating swords here. So kiting's not the worst idea in the world here. We got about halfway though. We're not doing too bad. Yeah, our minions are taking care of business. Get our skeletons on him. Throw another firestorm over him. There we go. So instead of going all the way back through, we'll portal back into town, and then we'll use that waypoint to head back to her. Hand that mission in, move on to the next. But yeah, I've been kind of trying to use my movement speed and my movement skills to my advantage a bit more this stream and last, just to kind of speed up progression a little bit. Not necessarily skip past stuff, but I mean, we don't need to see me killing a bunch of creeps and taking forever to get through those portions of the game. That's the stuff that everyone can do. No one's struggling with creeps. So we'll talk to Diala. They're going to drill a giant hole, and we'll enter the belly of the beast. Act 4 and like late Act 3 are where like your gear actually starts to matter a bit more too. So it's actually not uncommon to hit a wall here either. Even speedrunners, this is around the point where they actually stop to start killing something just to make sure they have enough experience to not, you know, rip left and right. We probably could have used some currency to upgrade that, but that's fine. What do our current rings look like? Probably better than those. And we probably should have sold some items while we were there in town too. Grab that flask. Definitely spawn some more zombies here. We're running short. So we can do 8 skeletons and 7 zombies right now at this point. Zip through, let them do their job. Let me hit a dead end. Fractured memory, which we've been kind of skipping past those just to make some further progress in the actual game itself. Thanks for stopping in, man. Much appreciated. Oh, the eyeballs of doom. So our zombies' health has actually gotten quite a bit better from the last couple of streams. They definitely can take a lot more hits for us. So at this point, we really need to focus more on just building our own HP and then just building more damage for them. Alright, let's go back into town and sell some of this stuff. Vol Skeletons is actually really good. I do have one stashed away, but I've been really, really stubborn about just using items I've actually looted with this character. So that's the only reason I haven't equipped it as of yet.
What is it, Exile?
So we're not going to use that, not going to use that. Yeah, these are all items that we can sell off. One thing I did kind of want to change out. We had picked up a Vol item in the last... Raising a Spectre wouldn't be a bad idea either. Could potentially give us some nice buffs. Problem is we've got so many things equipped already. And we just don't have any Jeweler's Orbs. Yeah, exactly. I kind of want to give this a first playthrough type of feeling. Yeah, we really need a chess piece with more than just 2 blues. What level is this? Yeah, we can do a lot better than that. Just been rushing through a bit too much, and we haven't been upgrading as often as we should. This will actually be pretty good. We've got the orbs for it. We've got energy. Yeah. Let's go ahead and purchase that. And that'll actually allow us to bring our blue sockets over too. Equip that and get rid of this thing then. We do need some more dexterity though. What's our character's dexterity at? 36? Shoot. Let's our desecrate. We definitely want to use that. That'll help us crit a bit more. Yeah, the Spectre skill, it's most useful to actually raise specters that give bonus attributes to your minions themselves. Let's see, that's unidentified. We haven't really struggled to maintain our mana since about the beginning of the game though, so I think we'll just stash that away for now in case we need it for later. And we're only 1 away from being able to upgrade to the next level too. So what I do think we need to do though, I don't want to lose my progress there, but we really need to go back to our hideout and mastercraft some dexterity. And then once we have enough dexterity on our items, we should be all set from there. Yeah, dexterity should be a suffix, so we just need to find an item that has a free suffix spot. And we're not going to use that level. We will use... Let's see... How much dexterity did I say? We had 36, and we need to get up to 54. Yeah, so we need 18 total. And where do we have an open suffix spot? On our belt. Perfect. Actually, this is one thing that's kind of a pain about this. Actually, item level 15, 27, 36. We're more likely to use this for a while, even though we could definitely use some more gem slots on it. But we'll go ahead and craft it onto there, just because we're more likely to use that and replace that belt sooner as opposed to later. So dexterity... And the second level of dexterity should make it so we have enough on that to still be able to use our boots again. Yep, perfect. So that's what we were looking for there. Now we've got 2 uniques equipped, and the level on the uniques doesn't necessarily matter. I think it'll matter for the amount of sockets we can have on there. Let's go ahead and take a chance on this. We probably have to unequip that. Yep. So let's unequip. And we're just about ready to head back out. I just really like to get a couple more sockets. Perfect. That was beautiful. So we are rocking Flesh Offering there. Now the one orb that I did want to use, let's throw Raise Spectre in there. And then it was a green. I wanted to use Vol Cyclone as opposed to Firestorm. But we need some more green sockets. We got some chromatics though. So we're just going to go ahead and re-roll the colors on here. Good enough for me. It says our, oh, that's because we don't have our dexterity item equipped. Now, just to be safe here, because we are only at 57 dexterity, let's double check and see. So 54. We're actually going to go ahead and lock our Desecrate for now, just to make sure it can't over level. Just because if our Desecrate over levels, we're going to be in a bit of trouble. And we'll probably do the same with Vol Cyclone, since that's going to take, well, we could probably level that up once or twice. We'll just have to make sure we don't forget to do that. So, summon Stone Golem. That's fine where it is. So I think Convocation will keep that where it is, but I think we're going to get rid of Firestorm actually, and replace Firestorm with Vol Cyclone. That's our summons, our Desecrate. So I think we'll be set from there. So let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. I'll probably I'll more or less go through it at some point later on. Probably if I do decide to use the Raise Spectre skill long term. Truthfully, I don't know all of them either. Get our Stone Golem going. Just gonna kind of let our minions do their thing here. Raise our skeletons. Now we got ourselves a full army and we'll just kind of move through. So it's actually not that big of a deal that we lost our waypoint there. Just because of the fact that we were pretty much at the beginning of it anyways. Only problem is our minions need to catch up to us here. zip around, let them hit things. Not that I'm aware of. I still actually need to double check the forums and find out the actual details of the event that's coming up. Vault Orb, very nice. Use that to corrupt things. Hit a dead end there. And that's something I'll also probably make a tutorial video on once the event starts. Yeah, it's just one of the skills I haven't used very much myself personally. And I've read up on it a little bit, but personally I learn the best when I've actually used something. It also kind of helps me put things into my own words as opposed to just kind of using someone else's words. Like, a good example, all the tutorial videos that I've made, I did quite a bit of research for all of them, just because I wanted to have a good basic idea of what was going on in the beginning, but I never made a video without actually like running through that content a few times myself, just because I wanted to be able to put it within my own context as opposed to essentially just regurgitating what I had heard someone else say. So I don't feel like if I had just kind of done that I'd really be able to give a solid explanation about anything. I'd basically just be telling people what I had read between Reddit and the forums, and I just don't feel like people would find that very useful. So yeah, once I've had a little bit of time to experiment with Ray's Spectre, I'll probably do a little bit more on it at that point. And definitely, man, I appreciate you coming in and saying that. I mean, I'm definitely always happy to help, and those are honestly the best kind of comments I get, just because that's the whole goal of what I do with this game, is just, you know, being able to just kind of teach people the basics and make the game not seem so intimidating. There's a lot to it, so, you know, I'm glad it actually helps people out. Everyone was a beginner at some point, and I think after you've played for, you know, a while, it's easy to forget that. It's because your knowledge of the game grows so much that, you know, it's, you know, I remember back when I didn't know what implicit modifiers were, what suffixes and prefix modifiers were, when, you know, I didn't really understand crafting, and, you know, I've come a long way since when I started playing, and, you know, it's my goal to help other people get there too. Oh, we hit another dead end. And to be honest with you, I'm actually not really digging Ball Cyclone. So I think we're actually just going to replace that with our Firestorm again. I thought it would work well in theory, but I didn't realize we'd stay stationary while using it. I know Val skills take charges to be able to use, but we're just not generating those souls fast enough to really justify using that at this point in the game. It might be pretty good with some support gems, but where we stand right now, we're not really doing any good with it. I'm pretty sure we just hit another dead end. Oh, no. I was going to say, I don't know where else to go. I feel like we hit every dead end we could. Yeah, Firestorm's just still doing us pretty well with our minion damage. Let's see, we actually do have another passive point we can assign. let's actually work our way over here so we can get some of those health nodes quicker. And we'll get that 30 strength node a little later on. Because one of the uniques I do want to get for this build later on will actually convert all that strength into more damage for our minions. So that'll be super helpful later on, but not quite as useful now, so we'll worry about that down the road and just focus on picking up some more health nodes at this point. So our biggest things right now are just going to be those health nodes and then damage for our minions. Because our health bars are actually staying up quite a bit, and we have some skills to help heal them anyways. Take this thing out. We don't have enough dex to equip that anyways. And dexterity is probably going to be the one area where we do struggle with this character, just because we don't really have a huge reason to stack up a bunch of dexterity. Honestly, I'll probably keep my desecrate where it is currently, just because the whole reason I even have desecrate equipped at this point is for defensive layering later on. And I mean, it can be useful to help us summon our zombies initially, but what we can do is use our desecrate at a lower level, summon our zombies, and once they've actually killed a few things off and died, we can use the corpses in the level to just go ahead and raise some stronger zombies. So desecrate to set up our zombies isn't necessarily what we have to do, and it's not the purpose for it in this build anyways. Like I said, it's for defensive layering. Because that way, eventually we'll get a cast when damage taken gem, and we'll stack that desecrate with this skill, where it brings them all towards me and basically just makes a big meat shield for me. Oh, this game will bring out your inner hoarder. Don't you worry about that. If there's even a part of you that's a hoarder, this game will bring it out. This is the game that made me realize I'm a hoarder and I have OCD. Those premium stash tabs are a godsend. Right, so we're not doing too bad. We're staying like on pace with the level of each area we're entering. It's level 39 area, and we just hit level 39, so that's pretty good. Let's assign our next passive. A little bit of lag there. Some more energy shield and some more life, so that'll be good for us. So we'll probably pick up that last node, and then we'll go ahead and look for some more nodes to buff our minion damage. Like when I started playing Seasons and Diablo, like I thought my hoarding was kind of exposed there, but this game just brought it to a whole nother level. There's just so many more things to loot. In Diablo, I was more concerned with actually like keeping legendary items that were really good, and in this game it's skill gems and divination cards, unique items. I've always preferred my Templar build. It's just a comfort zone for me, because my very first character was a Templar, and it's just I just understand building a Templar really well. This is probably my next go-to, would be a summoner, like a necromancer, just because I really like necromancers in any game like this. But one thing I like to do too is so this season, my main character that I made for well, I guess I should say the non-progression stream. I may use them for streams at some point in the future. But just my first character I built was a Templar. And one thing I'll probably do once the next league starts is actually build something completely different. Like, I may go Marauder, just because there's supposed to be a huge melee buff for characters. So I kind of like to try that out next season. Diablo 2 is wonderful. That was the game that got me into ARPGs. Yeah, Diablo definitely, Diablo 3 kind of made it so you were really kind of forced to build like specific types of builds with each characters when the seasons came out, just because, you know, I mean, you could still find good gear to put on your characters, but, you know, odds are you were probably going to find that season specific gear before anything else.
Our mistakes can be our greatest achievements. It was Malachai. Malachai chose.
I need to actually go back and play some of the first Diablo, just because I had never really gotten a chance when I was much younger, just because I didn't have a computer at the time, and I never had an N64 when I was a kid, and I just didn't know about the series at that time. But when I played Diablo 2, I don't even think I played another game on PC for years. I was so hooked on that game. But I did build a retro console a little while back, and I have a ton of N64 games on it, including the original Diablo. Definitely be worth going back and playing that. My favorite part of Diablo 3 is during the Diablo anniversary when they bring back the original Diablo levels. One of my favorite parts about Diablo 2 was the idea of actually kind of grinding bosses to get those specific drops, which I know drove some people nuts, but I loved it. Getting to know like the different boss movements, the attacks, the attack patterns. Like, I actually only play Diablo 3 on my Switch now, just so that way I've got a nice, you know, on-the-go ARPG that I can play anywhere. And they actually, I think the anniversary was shortly after that had launched on Switch. It was a few months after. And yeah, I was obsessed with getting all the achievements in it. God, I love the cow level. David Brevik is a personal hero. Absolutely love that guy and his work. He and his wife actually stream Path of Exile. They're big fans. It says a lot about the game that you know, the original lead programmer for Diablo and Diablo 2, you know, plays their game. They actually went over to Europe to do some advertising for him as well. That's actually the first build I started making when they did the Necromancer DLC for Diablo 3, was the Corpse Explosion Necromancer. That brought back some fond memories. I know I had a few people teasing me on the first video I made for Path of Exile that I mentioned Diablo so many times, but I mean, it's inevitable. Like, they're the games that started it all. You can't talk about any sort of ARPG without bringing up the first two Diablo games. I think it's a shame what's happened to Blizzard in the long run, but, you know, if it wasn't for their first two games, we wouldn't have any of this stuff. And I just love the genre. I haven't really had a chance to play the new Torchlight. I'm kind of interested in that also. Not sure if that's coming to PS4 or not, or if that one's going to be a PC exclusive. Did I? Yeah, I picked it up. Yeah, it was crazy how much killing you could do with a Necromancer and just walk around, do your thing. Chill, let them do all the work. Pretty great. It's definitely easy to see the Diablo influence in this game, even just in the level creation, the enemies. So many things this game does that I really wish Marvel Heroes had done so that game could have stayed alive. But that game was more of an example of a company just going bad, making poor decisions. Nothing wrong with a little bit of cheese. Pay attention here, they actually managed to kill a few of my zombies.
I hate to be critical, but I've seen it.
Yeah, our zombies have gotten a lot stronger over the past couple of acts. Head into the black core. Let's see how this goes. I don't know how much confidence I really have for this fight. Go, minions, go! Oh, they're doing their job. I just have to kite a little better here. Get up, skeletons. Unfortunately, piety is not going to be too good for the wear after this fight. Oh, snap. Hit us like a freight train. Yeah, she's dead, Jim.
This is what I get for trying.
That's more than a flesh wound.
Who'd have thought you'd be so suited to the role? I was
Yep.
convinced
See what you get for being a good guy?
in sparing your life and Exile.
He's getting impaled.
Fatal, yes, but a mistake. No.
How noble. We're gonna move on. Oh, you're going down, Malachai. Only good Malachai's in Borderlands. Oh, we're getting hit pretty hard here. Ooh. Yeah, I think we may die a couple times here. Go, my skeletal minions. This one is not an easy fight. Hey man, how's it going? Thanks for popping into the stream. Yeah, things have definitely gotten real here. Sick 'em zombies. Get some more skeletons in the mix. It's like wherever we walk, there's just something waiting to hit us hard. There it is. Yep, saw that coming. Very nice. Yeah, I need to run a bit more delve on my Templar. We also get our stone golem up here. And Malachai is kicking our butts right now. It's way too much going on. No. Just because we died once doesn't mean we're in love with death. There we go. I know we did an act or two ago. I was kind of struggling with my mana, but at this point we honestly probably could do that because I do feel like we're sustaining mana a lot better than we were originally. One of the big things at this point is I just haven't been doing a good enough job of keeping our gear updated. We've got a couple of really low level pieces of gear. I need to check with the actual vendors a little more often, but I've been kind of trying to progress through quickly. Oh, 10%? We'd be absolutely fine. See any good? See, there's our golems. Oh, nice. We finally have a cast on damage taken. So we can actually... Let's see, where do we have our... So we actually need the colors on two of these to swap. We need a red and a blue there, a blue unconnected. But it's something I definitely think we can do. So let's go ahead and sell off these two pieces of chest gear that we're not actually using. And this will actually give us another level of defense also. We'll go ahead, go into our stash. Actually, we've got 5 on us. Maybe we'll get lucky. So basically, we need to get a chromatic connection and then have a blue one, just kind of hanging out by itself. Actually, I think it'll just start using the ones we have in reserve. Ah, that's close. Do we have another blue? No, we don't. That's unfortunate. Man, there's nothing I necessarily want to sacrifice here either. It's our actual minions setup. Flesh offering we want to keep. Yeah, it's because it's an intelligence based. Oh yeah, we don't actually need that green. Cyclone kind of sucked for us. We'll probably get 3 blues. At 2 blues, that's enough. So we'll socket these 3 through here. Actually, wait. That's the wrong one. Oh, I ended up going over here. We go ahead and stash a bunch of this stuff just so we've actually got some room here. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. So we'll equip flesh offering there. Actually, let's put our skeletons back on triangle. Having it on an R2 is kind of a pain. Don't necessarily want that equipped there. Put our firestorm on X. Let's see, we'll put our golem here on circle. Let's see, we've got our zombies. Flame dash we have equipped. We have our holy relic. Put specter there. And then we'll put a flesh offering there. That's actually a good point. Requiring level 38 or lower. Yeah, so it can't actually support convocation yet. Let's lock that. And then once we level this up once, that should be more than enough, and it shouldn't take very long. Good catch. But now we should at least be somewhat more prepared. Actually, we need to go ahead and talk to them up here. Yeah, admittedly, it's just been a little while since I've run a necro. So in all reality, we're not actually going to be using any of these. It doesn't really matter which one of these we pick up. So I believe, yeah, he's down here. He's the one we can trade divination cards into early game. And we can run through here. Potentially. My only worry at this point is just, well, I suppose we could always flame dash, worst case scenario. We're regenerating mana to the point where we could probably just spam skeletons if we have to, too. Or Orb of Augmentation, definitely want to take that. Yeah, actually, you know what? Since we're this early into this, and we can always stop back, let's go ahead and see what our kill time is like. If we go full-on minion and then just kind of travel around. We can take a look, too, and see if we have any really solid support gems. No, that's actually what I've been trying for. That's what I want for my Val gem, is summon skeletons. I just have had mad, crazy bad luck with it so far. Because, yeah, they're definitely a lot better than just the regular summon skeletons. Let's see what other supports we've unlocked at this point. Nothing really good there. Minion damage support, which I think we actually have equipped on both of our... Yeah, our... Actually, why do we have... That's where our Firestorm is. I feel like we mixed something around, but I guess we didn't. Let's see, just an Orb of Transmutation, that's relatively cheap. So yeah, none of the support gems we need yet, but we'll get there. So let's go ahead and run back to Act 4. Head back to the Ascent. I grabbed the wrong gem. Going crazy. Actually, while we're at it, let's see. Yeah, our odds of getting 2 blues on that aren't very good. I'm not going to risk not having any. Yep, I went right past it. And that is why we don't look at gems by their icon. We could actually put that on our minions also. So we're not raising any specters right now anyways. We can hold on to that for later. And then just pick up 2 of those. Trying to remember what color. That's right, it's a red. We don't have the strength for it yet. But we can purchase one just to have it. Because we can actually go ahead and we can pick up that 30 strength node next. We'll just pick up 1 for now. I'm not really trying to maximize the build quite well. That wouldn't be maximizing the build, but yeah, I just haven't been making strength quite a priority. I'm literally I can pick up a plus 30 strength node the next level that I get, which will be more than enough strength at that point. I don't have the unique yet that'll actually give me the max benefit that I need for my minions quite yet, so I've been just stacking straight minion damage and health until I get to that point, in which case then strength becomes a much higher priority. So it looks like we're about to meet Nico. And for those of you who have not done any delving yet, Nico will actually be the guy who runs the delve for us. So he will go over here and actually mine for us, and that will allow us to run the delve. I don't worry about it too much early game. Yeah, you can get some really nice items through the delve, especially for crafting. Fossils are definitely where it's at when it comes to crafting. And the nice thing is, too, you don't have to worry about it so much early game because it'll actually scale up with you. So you can kind of skip some of those early levels if you're trying to kind of push through the main content first. But it's all preference. You can also run delve as you go, too. The rewards are really good, so... The biggest thing for delving, too, is to kind of go off the beaten path. I made a guide to actual delving for those of you who haven't quite seen that yet. It just kind of gives a few tips and tricks here and there for actually running off the beaten path, so that way you can have an easier time actually collecting fossils and some of the rare items, just because a lot of them are going to be out of your way and in the actual darkness itself, which can be dangerous if you don't exactly know how to run it efficiently. But once you kind of get the hang of it, you can go ahead and grind delve, and it's actually a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing about delving is just the fact that you can get good items, you can get currency, you can get jewelry, you know, you can get resonators and fossils for crafting. It's just overall you get a lot of solid stuff through delving.
When I'm ready, and not before.
That's the nice thing about all the past League content that they've oh, that's awesome. Yeah, all the past League content is stuff I wanted to go out of my way to cover, just because it's all just super useful once you actually know how to use it. Like when it comes to the actual betrayal content, the Syndicate, there's like a multitude of reasons why that stuff is super useful, and the biggest reason why I like it is, well, one, you get some really nice rewards when you actually run the different divisions hideouts, and the other is just the fact that as you go through and actually pick up items, the veiled items, and unveil them, just getting those extra options to craft is super useful. And that splash damage will actually super nice for taking out these different mobs. And we should, no, we gotta hit square and allocate. Wow, we're still short. What are we at for strength? Ah, 4 more. Not a big deal. Once we get to the next waypoint, or yeah, once we get to the next waypoint, we can just go back to our hideout and mastercraft some strength onto something. Oh, you're right. Yeah, the little icon's still up there. I could have sworn I hit square. Get rid of these guys first. There we go. Good. Now we don't have to mastercraft. Go back up here. Kind of been wandering a bit. Level 40. I suppose it's monster level 40 in this area, so we're not doing too bad in comparison. Yeah, I've been kind of unfortunate in the department of some of the currency I've been getting. So I don't think I have any fusing orbs at this point, and I've actually only gotten 1 jeweler's orb so far in this playthrough. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll end up finding an actual 4-link chess piece that's a bit better. And I don't think it'll take too long. Because, yeah, it'd be nice to have an actual 4-link for our zombies. Get another one of those splash support gems and have that on our zombies too. Let's see, what currency do we have on us currently? Oh, we can at least turn this into a blue. Get some skeletons in the mix. They really didn't drop us anything. That's unfortunate. Well, we do have our stone golem still up. Ooh, chaos orb. Fantastic. Thank you. That's actually our first Chaos Orb in this playthrough. That took a little while, to be honest.
Let's go.
And good lesson for your streams. Don't keep your kids, your 10-month-old son's baby toys next to your feet. We're gonna get a copyright strike for children's electronic songs that are copyrighted. Alright, we gotta zip through here. We're spending a bit too much time killing these mobs. Wow, this thing is relentless. Okay. Oh, that was fun. I hope we all learned our numbers. Alright, let's get some skeletons in here. Show these scrubs we mean business. Another dead end. We've been hitting a lot of dead ends tonight. This is where I wish I had some of the knowledge that some of the racers in this game have, because each map, it has a set amount of specific layouts that it can have. You're not always going to run into the same map in different areas. But a lot of the guys who do racing, they've been playing the game for so long and they know the layouts so well that just based off of the first couple of turns in a map, they can actually figure out exactly what type of layout they have, and they know exactly where to go for the exit into the next area. It's pretty insane. Like, I have a mad amount of respect for those guys. There we go. Use the wrong currency there. Leveling up loot boxes like this is normally a good idea. We just haven't really had a whole hell of a lot of luck with it. Yeah, it's like anything else. More repetition, the better your chances of actually learning it. Which is usually my problem, just because you know, typically I would play a character, get to mapping, and then I just sit there and, you know, map for the rest of the league. And I really only participated in, I think, like 2 leagues on PC. So I mean, just the 2 leagues I played on PC, and then my time on PS4. So I mean, this is really only my 4th run through of the actual campaign acts themselves. So, you know, pretty limited knowledge of the different areas just from, you know, not running through the story content that many times. But I'm hoping that this game will have a really nice, you know, lifespan on PS4, and when PS5 comes out, we get a... Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to have reverse compatibility, or backwards compatibility. So with that being the case, you know, hopefully we'll still be able to play Path of Exile on the PS5. It's always a strange time when you're kind of towards the end of a life cycle of one console, waiting for the next one to come out. My dream for the PS5 is that they'll make it fully backwards compatible, and then you'll see the price of used PlayStation 1 games in every single used game store skyrocket. Let's see. What do our resistances look like right now? This is another thing, too, to keep in mind. If you want to check something before you accept a reward, you can always go back and talk to the person and claim the reward afterwards, or not claim it at all for whatever reason if you want to do that. So fire damage isn't looking too bad. Cold and lightning resists are a little low. So we'll get a 2-stone ring, and hopefully this will be decent. +3 to all. That adds cold damage to our attacks, though, which in the long run we're not going to want to have, because we're going to put cold damage on our minions, and we're going to use elemental equilibrium. So for right now it would be fine, but I think my big worry is I'll forget that it's on there. So I think we're just going to kind of skip using that for now. That we need to be level 42 to use. Yeah, I think my big thing will be if they make the PS5 completely backwards compatible, I will probably at that point end up putting in yet another dozen playthroughs through Champions of Norath and Champions of Norath Return to Arms, which for anyone who has not played those games on PlayStation 2, you missed out on a real gem on those ones. Huge fan of that series. Oh god, if I could actually like stream and play that game with people on top of it, that would be amazing. Those games were so good. Basically think of like, I wouldn't say, I guess, this game just because it doesn't have that complicated of a skill tree, but think of like Diablo meets EverQuest, and it's kind of a simplified version of, you know, what it actually was, but you know, that's kind of what Champions of Norath was for those of you who aren't familiar with it. Great games. Another couple of games that really ignited my passion for ARPGs. Let's see. So we have actually made it to Act 5 at this point. Titan Quest is another great one. I actually still have that game on PC. Another one of those great ARPG games that anyone who did not play definitely missed out on that one also. I think I'm almost positive that I have the remastered edition on Steam. So I think anyone who had like the original version on Steam when it came out got a free upgrade, which is one of the super nice things about Steam. They do that pretty often. Like I had the BioShock collection on there, and when they did the remastered BioShock collection, they gave everyone the upgrades for free. I think literally my only qualm with Steam whatsoever is the fact that it has stopped Valve from continuing to make games. And I don't play super competitive games all that often, but pretty much the only game I ever played like competitively and got super serious about was Left 4 Dead 2. And it does kind of suck that we'll probably never see a Left 4 Dead 3, but I'm hoping Back 4 Blood ends up being a really good game. I have high hopes for it. Those of you who aren't familiar, Back 4 Blood is a game that's being made by Turtle Rock Studios, which was the studio that used to work under Valve that made Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. A more recent game that they made was what was it called? Hunt? I think it was called Hunt. It's a game where like it was a 1v4 game. One person played as a monster, the other 4 played as a group of hunters. Evolve. It was called Evolve. That's what it was, not Hunt. Evolve was a bit disappointing, but I think it was the whole 1v4 element of the game that kind of ruined it for me, to be honest. Yeah, Evolve was pretty meh. They did a decent job balancing the game, but it sounds familiar, but I haven't honestly played it. Level 41. Yeah, we're right around where the monster level is. So we're moving through a bit slower at this point, but at this point in the game it is important to kind of keep up with the actual area levels. Oh, that's the Warhammer ARPG, isn't it? That's why it sounds so familiar. Oh, I thought someone had told me that that was set in the Warhammer universe. I could have been misinformed, though, too. It's the power of the internet. I know the devs behind, God, I'm trying to think of what the game is called. But the devs of this game made another ARPG. It's out on PC and on Xbox. And like, I know what it is, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's also a really good game. Get some skeletons in here to crush these guys. That's really bothering me. I can't think of that name. The name of that game right now. Grim Dawn. That's what it's called. Grim Dawn. Another great ARPG. Really like to see that come to PS4 at some point too. I don't think they've said that they have any plans to bring it to PS4, but then again, I remember being told that Path of Exile was never going to come to the PS4, and here we are. Well, I mean, you can't have a grinding Gears game without it being somewhat complicated. That lighting does not feel nice. I feel like Path of Exile, to its credit, it's one of those games that appears ridiculously complicated at first, and then once you kind of get the hang of it, you slowly kind of figure out everything all at once. Like, it's just one of those things that just kind of clicks. I'm just not enjoying being in this area right now. There we go. If we could just find a solid chess piece, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I haven't done too much in Grim Dawn just because I haven't really had the time to really pick it up. Most of my time has been dedicated to playing Path. Hey man, better late than never. Yeah, most of my time's been dedicated to either playing Path or I've made it a mission of my own to try and play through the Borderlands series again before Borderlands 3 comes out. The OG looter shooter. We're starting to have a little better luck on currency drops here, which I've noticed, which is nice. I haven't seen that actually. Yeah, grats, man. You're all ready to map. Dude, that's where this game really starts to get fun. Mapping is a blast. Seems like nowadays, though, I don't feel like a lot of stuff that gains in popularity really stays a PC exclusive forever. That might be me being overly optimistic, but it can happen. But like mapping's where I feel like you're really going to figure out your build and like really, you know, tweak it to that perfect level, especially as you go from like the you know, the tier 1 through 5 maps to, you know, tier 6 through 10 and then 10 onward. You'll gain a piece of gear or two that'll really improve your build. Yeah, they kind of hit you with a double negative after you finish Act 10, because not only do they screw you on your resistances, but you also take a higher death penalty with your experience. Yeah, you're kind of set on your resistances then. Not having chaos capped is, that's pretty standard. What's your health cap look like? You might just need to stack a bit more maximum health. Speaking of which, we're going to take a little more health. Yeah, having max block or max evasion, either one is pretty awesome. You're going to want a lot more health than that too, to be honest. 1400's really on the low side. The nice thing is you can always mastercraft health onto your items, so it's a prefix modifier. So if you have some pieces of gear that have open prefixes, so if you don't have 3 total prefixes, you can actually go into your hideout on your crafting bench and mastercraft more health on your items. It'll probably help you out a lot. because max health, or not max health, because you can continue to stack health, but having more health is definitely going to help you out a ton. Like right now, my Templar that I'm mapping with, I've got I think like around 4,200 health, and then another 2,000 and some energy shield on top of that. We're gonna need some better mana regen on this build. Wow, he ate through my zombies. Yeah, if you get stunned or if you get frozen, you get eaten up in a heartbeat sometimes. Yeah, that's smart. Divination cards can be the way to go sometimes. Nice thing with divination cards too is if you're looking for specific ones, you can actually look up online on some of the wikis the different areas that specific divination cards will spawn in, and just keep running those areas.
I need more mana.
Haha, on the same page on that one. Yeah, so right now we're actually kind of moving through here a bit slower, but that's just because I am admittedly trying to grind out a couple levels here. Yeah, farming divination cards is definitely a solid idea. Yeah, I'll actually probably use that same amulet for this build. So we're going to clear this area just to grab another hideout, which grabbing the different hideouts doesn't really make a huge difference, but just gives you more pretty places to hang out. Nice, Grats. I think we just cleared this area out. Oh, no, we got one guy just hanging out outside. There we go. Let's see here. Grab our next health node. Alright, now we can raise the rest of our zombies. Actually focus on moving through here a bit more. That'll be nice. It's gonna make delving a ton easier. was actually watching some guys today who had builds where they had pretty much broken movement speed. To the point where like they were moving so quick it looked like they were just phasing through the map. It's always fun to watch guys who will actually go out of their way to figure out the correct skill combinations to break certain elements of the game. And typically it'll get patched out, but it's always fun to watch in the moment. Yeah, that's insane. You definitely don't need anything better than that. Yeah, once you start getting in those deeper levels of the delve, it's super, super rewarding. Yeah, the only bad thing right now is we are starting to run into mana issues. And we're running into all the dead end issues too. Yeah, it gets to the point where it's kind of all downhill from there. So once you can farm that effectively, you can essentially just buy any gear that you need. Even with the inflation in the current market. Which takes a little bit while to get takes a little while to get used to too after you play on PC for so long. You get used to kind of what things are priced at. And then on PS4, since things are so new and you don't have quite as many experienced players who, you know, are putting a lot of those items on the marketplace, it makes them rare, which causes those prices to increase. Supply and demand. Get our waypoint here, and where are we currently? We've done a bit of grinding here, so truthfully it is getting a little bit late here. I do work early in the morning, so I kind of have a hard time when the chat's this active stopping the stream, but I probably am going to call it a night here. But yeah, definitely thank you guys for coming in. The chat's been more and more active every time I've been doing a stream, which is the goal, and it's awesome, and it caused me to get probably a little distracted with traveling throughout the levels, but it's awesome, and it's why I do this, so that way I can, you know, not only show you guys an actual playthrough and you guys can kind of see it, you know, moving along and not me just zipping through the levels, but actually evaluating what we're doing. You know, it's enjoyable. I've had a lot of fun with it, so I'm glad that you guys have come in and been involved and just kind of chatted and hung out, and I'm glad it's kind of grown every time we've done it. So yeah, I'll be back online Wednesday night, same time. We'll continue to do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you guys for all stopping in again, and yeah, this continues to pick up, we'll probably actually start doing a few more streams here and there. I wanted to do a surprise one this weekend, but we didn't quite find the time to. But yeah, there'll definitely be a lot more streams coming. Once we hit Act 10, we'll start doing some mapping and possibly kind of grouping up with community members at some point too, once we're mapping and just kind of running through more content. So hope you guys have a great night. Thanks again for stopping in, and until next time, may the RNG be with you always.